My God, you are awesome. You have made me, you have formed me in the womb of my mother. It is you who keeps my heart beating and fills my lungs with breath every morning. I owe my very life and my very existence to you. O Lord, you are great, you are omnipotent, you are wonderful. How majestic is your name, for it is you who has written your very name upon my heart. And so it is written, 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 2 through 3. The only letter of recommendation we need is you yourselves. Your lives are a letter written in our hearts. Everyone can read it and recognize our good work among you. Clearly, you are a letter from Christ showing the result of our ministry among you. This letter is written not with pen and ink, but with the Spirit of the living God. It is carved not on tablets or stone, but on human hearts. Jeremiah 31:33. But this is the new covenant I will make with the people of Israel on that day, says the Lord. I will put my instructions deep within them, and I will write them on their hearts. I will be their God, and they will be my people. Hi, it's Lindley Oz, and the Bible tells us that there is nothing or no one like God anywhere. And he's pretty amazing the way he has left his mark all over the world. Well, I was watching a Perry Stone video the other night, and in his video, he mentioned a few things that were just fascinating that I didn't know anything about. So I'm thinking that some of you might already know about it. I did not. So there's got to be other people who don't know about it either. So I'm going to go ahead and share it with you. As I was searching for the things that Perry Stone discussed, I also came across quite a few other things that were just as interesting. Like I said, I'm going to share those things with you, and I think you're going to be pretty amazed. Before we begin, I would like to take just a moment to share a few scriptures with you about just how awesome God is. And these are only a few because there are quite a few Bible verses that tell us what an awesome, mighty, powerful, omnipotent God we serve. First, we have here on the screen Exodus 9:14. For I will at this time send all my plagues upon thine heart, and upon thy servants, and upon thy people, that thou mayest know that there is none like me in all the earth. Next we have Isaiah 45:5. I am the Lord, and there is none else. There is no God besides me. I girded thee, that thou hast not known me. Finally, Jeremiah 10:6. For as much as there is none like unto thee, O Lord, thou art great, and thy name is great in might. So, those are just a few verses telling us what a powerful, great God we serve.
Gabriel is one of the most famous angels in the Bible. Now, a new exhibit in Jerusalem highlights an archaeological find that quotes the messenger angel.
That's right. It's considered the most important discovery of its kind since the Dead Sea Scrolls. CBN Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell has that story.
It's called the Revelation of Gabriel. It's written on stone by one who proclaims 3 times, I am Gabriel, just Zechariah in the 1st chapter of Luke.
To the best of my knowledge, these are the only 2 instances in ancient Jewish and Christian literature that you have such an expression, I am Gabriel.
The tablet is considered by some scholars to be a Dead Sea Scroll on stone. It's written in 2 columns in ink, and the style of writing, the script, is the same as the Dead Sea Scrolls themselves. Some believe it was found near the Dead Sea, but no one knows for sure, because an art collector purchased the stone from an antiquities dealer in 2000. Museum curator Adolfo Reutemann says experts believe it's authentic.
It's very clear that this stone was written in time of Herod the Great, even though the fact that angels are many times mentioned in the Hebrew Bible, only in the book of Daniel, 2 angels are mentioned by names, Gabriel and Michael, the same 2 angels mentioned in the stone.
There are 87 lines of text on the stone, but only about 40% is legible, so the meaning is obscured.
To the best of my knowledge, at least 5 different readings were proposed for the riddle of this stone.
However, all agree the message refers to an attack on Jerusalem and the hope of God's deliverance. At line 80, there's a reference to 3 days, which originally some thought referred to the resurrection. Now they believe it refers to a sign.
Gabriel plays such a key role in a strategic and dramatic scene as is the Gospel of Luke chapter 1, in which he reveals to Zechariah and to Mary.
This is the first time the stone is on display in Israel.
And it's a small exhibition of 1 stone and 6 manuscripts, which of course relate to the emergence of Gabriel as an important prophetic figure and his recurrence time and again in Jewish, Christian, and Islamic biblical literature.
Israel Museum Director James Snyder says the display complements another exhibition, 30 tons worth of material relating to King Herod.
It allows us to look at a singular period of time during which Herod was building the earthly Jerusalem. And the text of the Gabriel Revelation stone relates to the slightly later moment of angst that begins to reflect on destruction and redemption and on the heavenly Jerusalem.
Chris Mitchell.
Now, I find that pretty fascinating. Here's a little bit from the article that CBN News did on this piece. It says, Gabriel is one of the Bible's best known angels. Now, a first-of-its-kind exhibition in Jerusalem highlights an archaeological discovery, quoting Gabriel, that's considered the most important find of its kind since the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls. It's called the Revelation of Gabriel. It's written on stone and proclaims 3 times, I am Gabriel, just as the angel told Zechariah, the father of John the Baptist, in the first chapter of Luke's Gospel. So to the best of my knowledge, these are the only 2 instances in ancient Jewish and Christian literature that you have such an expression. I am Gabriel, Israel Museum curator Adolfo Reutemann told CBN News. Some scholars consider the tablet a Dead Sea Scroll on stone. It is written in 2 columns, in ink, and the style of writing, the script, is the same as the Dead Sea Scrolls themselves. While some scholars believe it was found near the Dead Sea, no one knows for sure because an art collector purchased the stone from an antiquities dealer in 2000. Again, I think this is pretty amazing and it's an awesome find. Now I'm going to show you some more things that are pretty awesome in themselves. Now here's another interesting one. It says archaeological discovery in the Jordan Valley, enormous foot-shaped enclosures. It says foot-shaped structures have been revealed in the Jordan Valley and are among the earliest sites that archaeologists believe were built by the ancient people of Israel. The structures are thought to be symbolic of the biblical concept of ownership. The foot structures that we found in the Jordan Valley are the first sites that the people of Israel built upon entering Canaan, and they testify to the biblical concept of ownership of the land with the foot, said archaeologist Professor Adam Zertal of the University of Haifa, who headed the excavating team that exposed 5 compounds in the shape of an enormous foot, likely to have been used at that time to mark ownership of territory. The finding is believed to represent the first time that enclosed sites identified with the biblical sites termed in Hebrew Gilgal, which were used for assemblies, preparation for battle, and rituals, have been revealed in the Jordan Valley. The Hebrew word Gilgal is a camp or stone structure, is mentioned 39 times in the Bible. The stone enclosures were located in the Jordan Valley and the hill country west of it. To this day, no archaeological site has been proposed to be identified with the Gilgal. Between the years 1990 and 2008, during the Manasseh Hill Country Survey that covers Samaria and the Jordan Valley, 5 such enclosures were found and excavated, all designed in the shape of a human foot. The sites are believed to date back to the outset of the Iron Age, the 13th and 12th centuries BCE. Based on their size and shape, it is clear that they were used for human assembly and not for animals. So here's a little tidbit here. It says, recently a satellite picture discovered 5 rock structures that formed in a shape of a shoe on a foot in Gilgal. This is related to Psalms 108, 8 through 9, and Psalm 60, verse 8. Gilgal is the place where the Israelites camped before they entered the Promised Land. It is also where they were circumcised. Gilgal means to a wheel or to recircle. The shape is formed by 5 structures. 5 is also a number of grace. The founder, Professor Adam Zaitel, mentioned that the Israelites built their camps there in the form of a shoe. This is done so when God looked down from heaven, he would see his footprint. Also, speaking of shoes, Joshua had to take off his shoe, one, not both, and that's found in Joshua 5:15, to symbolize that the Israelites can redeem the entire land back. Similar like the story of Ruth and Boaz, found in Ruth 4, 1 through 13. The angel of the Lord showed up to give the Israelites permission to take back the land. So here is a close-up picture of the shoe at Gilgal. It says in recent years, 5 enclosures were found in the Jordan Valley and excavated, all designed in the shape of a human foot. The sites are believed to date back to the outset of the Iron Age, the 13th to 12th centuries BCE, which I just mentioned. So that's pretty phenomenal and interesting in itself. Now I've got some more for you, and this next one is pretty intriguing. Interestingly enough, Jeremiah 7:12 states, "Go to my place, which is in Shiloh, where I caused my name to dwell." So this person was doing a study in the book of Job, and a teacher referenced that passage. So this person researched the passage, and this is what they found. You can see right here, that is the name of God. It says the Hebrew name of God, Yahweh, written exactly where the Bible states via satellite image. And here is a more detailed description on Flickr. There's a close-up, and you can see right here, it says, this interesting satellite picture of the area between Jerusalem and Shiloh caused a stir a few years ago. It was pointed out to me by Moshe, the Orthodox Jewish owner of Shorashim Gift and Bookshop in the Jewish quarter of the Old City of Jerusalem. You will see outlined what appears to be the divine name of Yahweh carved by the valleys into the hills, just to the east of Ramallah. What makes this even more amazing is the Bible speaking of only 2 places where Yahweh has placed his name, Shiloh and Jerusalem. And this is halfway between the two, at Bethel, where Yaakov had the dream of angels descending and ascending. When this was pointed out to me a few years ago, I determined to revisit the older satellite pictures I had of this area up to 20 years earlier. And sure enough, this phenomena was in those also. The story of this discovery goes something like this. A kibbutz had built a new restaurant and wanted to put a large satellite picture of Israel on one of the walls. It would not fit in the normal north-south view, so someone suggested putting it on its side, east to top. When they did this, the next person to come into the restaurant shouted out, "Hey, I can see the divine name on that picture." Since then, this picture has done the rounds of the Orthodox community. Most Google Earth views of this area also reveal this phenomena of the divine name. For those of us who acknowledge only one God, known only as Yahweh, it is further of interest that this is placed exactly above Ramallah, which means high place of Allah. Why should this phenomena use the modern Hebrew alphabet? Surely because it is only now that anyone can view this phenomena from orbit. So there you see the picture again, the name of God. I thought it was pretty interesting and just worth sharing. Now here's the biggest news of everything I've shared so far, and if you're not blown away, I'm going to be totally surprised because I was. First off, It says the photo shows what sheen looks like in book type. Just as in English, some of the Hebrew letters look different handwritten than they do in book type. To see a good representation of the letter sheen in handwritten form, hold up 3 fingers just like you're trying to show someone the number 3. This gives you a better picture of how it would have been written. Below is a map of ancient Jerusalem. It shows many areas of Jerusalem as they were added through time. Jerusalem sits on a mountain that is surrounded by taller mountains. There are 3 valleys that come together at the base of Mount Moriah. They are the Kidron Valley on the right, the Central Valley in the middle, and the Hinnom Valley on the left. They aren't easy to see on this one because of the colors on top of the valleys. Now wait till you see what I'm about to show you, okay? This is awesome in itself about Israel and about how God has placed his signature on Israel. This is what is exciting to me. This is the place where God literally chose to write his name. The valleys here form the first letter of Shaddai, God Almighty. There has been much conflict over the nation of Israel for many years. Many nations want to take over the land and control it for their own purposes. They continue to try and continue to fail. God has in essence said to them, "You can't have it because my name is written on it." Now, there's one other place God has written his name, and this is the one that's going to blow you away. But before I show you that, let me show you this Israel situation with God's name written on it. So right here, you can see the sheen over Israel. Now, these dark lines here have been added to highlight it and show you, but let me show you a photograph without that. Now, take a good look at this. This right here is the human heart. Do you see how the human heart forms the sheen? And if that wasn't enough, the little circle that is shown in the other photographs of the sheen and what it looks like is shown here in the human heart. And then right here, for further comparison, see the circle? Look right here at this passage. Now, this is Jeremiah 31:3. Let's go down to King James. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, saith the Lord, I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their God, and they shall be my people. So the name of God is written in our very hearts. And what is important to him? His law. And he has written it in our hearts with his signature, the sheen. And he has written it over his land, Israel.